A different kind of meltdown is spreading across America. Not a financial storm, not a real estate bubble, but a mass exit from restaurant chains that were once packed with customers. Red Lobster, bankrupt. Denny's, Arby's, once the places where families ate weekend dinners, now forced to sell themselves, close locations, and cut back just to survive. Hundreds of iconic restaurants have disappeared, taking jobs with them, leaving neighborhoods empty and erasing a piece of American life along the way. The frightening part isn't that they're collapsing, but that this is only the beginning. Costs are rising, customers are disappearing, debts are exploding. Many major chains are standing right on the edge. Today, we're going to look directly at 12 major brands that are declining, with real data, real financial reports, and survival decisions already announced. Brand number 7 will shock you. Sit tight, and let's begin right now. 12. Red Lobster. The seafood icon sinking to the bottom in the middle of America. If there's a brand that once made Americans think of generous seafood meals at affordable prices, it was Red Lobster. But now, the very choice that made them famous is dragging the entire empire to the bottom. In May 2024, Red Lobster officially filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, closed nearly 100 restaurants, and was forced to cut off the necrotic parts of its own system. A symbol of abundance on the American dinner table now has to rewrite its fate as it enters 2025. The one responsible for that reputation, a program that seemed harmless, endless shrimp, unlimited shrimp. What began as a promotion to attract customers became a bottomless pit. Thai Union, its former controlling shareholder, pushed to make this promotion a permanent item, despite soaring monthly costs. The result? More than $11 million lost to shrimp plates and a net loss of $76 million in 2023 alone. Customers loved it, but the restaurant couldn't afford its own policy. Many believe Red Lobster declined because of quality, but the truth goes deeper. Customer traffic dropped 30% since 2019, not because the menu got worse, but because the budget dining market was strangled by inflation. As food, insurance, taxes, and living costs soared, Americans aged 50+, its most loyal group, stopped eating out and returned to home kitchens. A brand built on family joy suddenly lost the families that sustained it. After bankruptcy, Red Lobster is restructuring aggressively, appointing new CEO Damola Adamolakun, cutting outdated promotions, partnering with Olo to upgrade ordering technology, and revamping its menu to reduce ingredient costs. US media describes the brand as a patient in emergency care who has passed the critical stage but still can't stand up. There's optimism, but it's a painful recovery. The question remains, can Red Lobster be reborn? Or will it survive only as a memory of shrimp-filled seafood feasts? If endless shrimp was once a joy, it is now an expensive lesson for the entire American restaurant industry. Sometimes success doesn't come from giving customers more, but from knowing where to draw the line. 11. Hooters, bankruptcy in 2025. When a business model is no longer worth paying for. In March 2025, Hooters officially filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. The news didn't hit like a shocking headline, but more like the final page of a financial report that had been waiting for a signature. What's more notable than the bankruptcy announcement itself is what happened next. In November 2025, Hooters was acquired by its original founding group. A brand that had been passed through multiple investment funds returned to its ancestors, as if admitting that all expansion strategies and past revenue expectations had failed. Unlike chains facing scandals over quality, Hooters entered 2025 with a colder problem. Revenue was no longer enough to pay its debt, and the business purpose no longer created a profit margin worthy of maintaining its existing model. Large real estate costs, a labor-intensive service style, sharply reduced customer traffic after the pandemic, and accumulated debt from previous ownership funds pushed the chain to cut off the parts that no longer generate profit. More than 100 restaurants were forced to close or be sold during restructuring. In a YouTube comment, one viewer summed it up perfectly without using any business jargon. These places kept changing owners. When you stop serving customers and only chase profit, the result is obvious. Both investors and consumers can see the same truth. Hooters didn't suffer from bad food, nor was it taken down by major social controversy. The problem is that the business model no longer creates economic value. The brand didn't collapse because its service style is outdated, but because the market no longer wants to pay high operating costs for an experience that can be replaced by cheaper, faster models with more options. Even as original Hooters LLC promises to return to a classic beach style, use fresh wings instead of frozen ones, and adjust the uniforms as a rebranding strategy, its old debt and reduced scale mean they only have enough resources to exist. No growth left, no expansion ahead. Bankruptcy in 2025 isn't a fall. It's confirmation that in the F&B industry, high-cost concepts only survive when customers are still willing to pay to maintain them. When profit can no longer sustain the experience, the first survival strategy is always contraction. And Hooters is doing exactly that. Not to grow, but simply not to disappear. Do you think if Hooters cuts costs and changes its menu, this model still has a reason to exist in the future? 10. Wendy's. When the wrong idea at the wrong time pulls an entire brand down. At the end of Q1 2025, Wendy's suddenly became the center of attention over an idea that never even got implemented. The chain's leadership proposed testing dynamic pricing, menu prices that change by time of day. Media and customers immediately interpreted it in the most dangerous way. Wendy's will raise prices when it's busy. The backlash was so strong that the company had to clarify and then cancel the plan. No food safety scandal, no quality controversy. Just one idea at the wrong time, in the wrong economic climate, but enough to make consumers turn away. Why? Because Wendy's chose to talk about flexible pricing at the exact moment when Americans are tightening every meal budget. And when customers are used to Wendy's being a brand that offers decent quality at reasonable prices, any hint of price increases feels like betrayal. Also in 2025, Wendy's lost nearly 50% of its stock value and announced plans to close around 300 stores between 2025-2026. The company launched Project Fresh, a rebranding effort focused on digital menu technology. But here's the irony. Wendy's pushed toward innovation while having no official CEO after the previous leader left mid-year. A brand trying to be fresh without someone to lead it. Beyond the PR disaster, Wendy's is facing a harsher reality. Food costs are rising sharply, labor costs remain high, and competitors are choosing to lower prices instead, especially family-style chains like Chili's, where Americans can pay nearly the same price but get bigger portions. When rivals offer more for the same money, Wendy's suddenly looks unconvincing. One standout comment under a Wendy's video captured the consumer mood perfectly. "I stopped eating out because a $3.49 hamburger now costs almost $18. This isn't just a complaint about price. It's a reminder that people won't pay extra for something they can make cheaper at home." For a fast food brand, once customers start comparing your value to their home kitchen, that's a clear sign of danger. Wendy's isn't collapsing because of its menu or its quality. It's struggling because of fuzzy brand positioning, messaging at the wrong time, and no clear strategy to convince Americans that Wendy's is still worth paying for. So what do you think? Is Wendy's still appealing enough to compete? Or is it time for consumers to choose a home-cooked meal over a confused fast food brand? If you're following this series, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because what's coming next may surprise you even more. 9. Pizza Hut, a silent crisis and a lawsuit that predicts the future. In January 2025, a Pizza Hut franchise in Turkey declared bankruptcy after Yum! Brands terminated the contract and sued the operator for poor performance. What looked like a foreign dispute instead became an early warning for the entire chain. When a brand stops being profitable, even its own parent company is willing to walk away. By the end of 2025, that warning reached the US. Yum! Brands announced it is considering selling or spinning off Pizza Hut after 7 consecutive quarters of declining same-store sales, with a 6% drop in Q3 2025 alone. No food safety crisis, no quality scandal. Pizza Hut is declining for a colder reason. It no longer generates growth. The US pizza market no longer rewards legacy brands. It rewards speed and discounts. Domino's wins through delivery technology. Papa John's attracts customers with aggressive discounts. Local pizza shops compete through flavor and lower prices. Pizza Hut sits in the middle. Not faster, not cheaper, not more distinctive. With more than 9,800 stores worldwide, scale is no longer a strength. As Americans become more price-sensitive and shift toward heavy discount delivery, Pizza Hut's slower, less innovative model becomes costly instead of profitable. Yum! Brands is now prioritizing KFC, leaving open the option to let Pizza Hut cure itself by stepping away. This raises a question not of how weak Pizza Hut has become, but who should be responsible for its decline. Yum! The market, or the model Pizza Hut built for itself? Do you think Pizza Hut has a chance to recover, or should it accept being sold to a new owner? Share your opinion. 8. Subway, the bigger it gets, the more vulnerable it becomes. Subway is trapped in its own paradox. It has the largest store network in the world, yet its average revenue per location is among the lowest in the industry. By the end of 2024, the average US Subway store generated only about $500,000 per year, far too thin to ensure profit as ingredient and labor costs rise. A huge network that once served as an advantage has now become a burden, large in scale, but not strong enough at each location to protect itself. After years of saturation, Subway closed more than 2,000 stores before 2019, then shifted to international expansion under new owner Roark Capital, a nearly $10 billion acquisition. But expanding more doesn't hide the truth. Subway still hasn't found a way to increase profit per store. Management instability continues. CEO John Chidsey retired at the end of 2024, and Carrie Walsh is temporarily in charge as Subway searches for a permanent leader. This marks the third CEO change in 5 years. At the same time, conflict with franchise operators is no longer just contract disputes. A franchisee operating 48 stores filed for bankruptcy in 2024 after a $3 million damages judgment. This signals that legal risk is now spreading to the franchise system itself, not just the corporate level. Subway is trying to rebuild, updating the menu, Subway Series, Sidekicks, upgrading kiosk orders, and signing agreements for 4,000 new stores in China. But technology and new items are just a coat of paint. What Subway must fix is its weak profit model at the core. The biggest question is no longer where will they expand next, but rather, Will future stores actually make money? Do you think Subway is recovering or simply expanding a problem that still hasn't been solved? If you want to follow the next truths behind the U.S. restaurant industry, don't forget to like and subscribe. 7. TGI Fridays. Does a weekend-style brand still have a place in an era when everyone stays home? TGI Fridays was created to serve weekend gatherings, where customers didn't just eat, they stayed longer, talked, and enjoyed the restaurant atmosphere. But as social habits change, Americans eat at home more often and prefer quick delivery over dining out with groups. The question is, how much room is left for a model built on dine in and linger? At the end of 2024, TGI Fridays filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy after owner Triartisan restructured its finances. Before that, the chain had closed about 50 restaurants in just a few months and now has only around 85 locations in the U.S., a steep drop from more than 270 previously. In a state of operating while restructuring, Fridays must negotiate with creditors, franchise partners, and review financial commitments, including unsecured obligations tied to gift cards. What stands out is that Fridays is not facing scandals about quality or management, but a problem rooted in market demand itself. Post-pandemic consumers are tightening spending on dining out with service, the casual dining segment. Instead of paying more for a meal in a restaurant atmosphere, many families choose fast food, takeout, or home cooking. With smartphones and delivery apps, socializing at home has become easier and cheaper. Fridays is trying to attract younger Gen Z customers with a refreshed menu and a more modern brand image. But its model still faces a difficult question. In an era when customers prioritize convenience, does a brand built on staying longer still have room to grow? 6. Red Robin. When a burger is no longer worth coming back. For how long can a burger brand survive when customers start believing they can make a better burger at home? That is exactly the challenge Red Robin is facing after years of declining quality and recurring complaints about the dining experience. The Q3 2025 report shows Red Robin still hasn't returned to strong growth. Revenue reached $265.1 million, slightly down, but losses narrowed significantly, from $37.8 million to $13.2 million in the first 9 months. These numbers show Red Robin is trying to stand back up, not that it is truly healthy. Its first choice plan focuses on cutting costs, improving food quality, and launching promotions like Big Yum to attract weekday customers. At the same time, the chain quietly closed more restaurants, from 500 down to roughly 480 in 2025. No scandal, no controversy, but the silence of those closures is the clearest alarm bell. The issue isn't that Red Robin lacks ideas. It has lost the most fundamental thing: customer trust in its quality. A comment in the community summed up the situation like a verdict, simple but sharp. I'm willing to pay more as long as the food is good. As for Red Robin, what exactly are they serving? Brutal competition from newer burger chains, Shake Shack, Five Guys, combined with Americans choosing to cook at home more often, is forcing Red Robin to cut back in order to survive. Its strategy aims for slow, long-term recovery, but the condition is obvious. If the food doesn't improve, every strategy is just an expensive effort. Have you ever eaten at Red Robin? Is the quality still worth the price? 5. Rubio's Coastal Grill, bankruptcy twice, and still selling shrimp like nothing happened. You know a restaurant is in serious trouble when it goes bankrupt more times than you change phones. Rubio's Coastal Grill, the brand that once made Americans obsessed with Cali-Mex seafood tacos, has filed for bankruptcy twice in just 5 years, with the latest in June 2024. The official reason announced sounded both sad and hilarious. Unable to withstand the cost of doing business in California. Tastingtable.com. Right after the announcement, Rubio's closed about 50 of its 136 restaurants, shrinking its market to 83 locations in California, Arizona, and Nevada. By August 2024, its main creditor, TriW Capital, decided to just buy it so we don't have to keep lending to it, and took over the entire chain. Thanks to that, Rubio's entered a slow living phase. No more aggressive expansion, only opening small, opening slowly, and opening when there's money. No scandal, no drama about chemical seasonings. But Rubio's has something else. Operating costs that are suffocating. Food prices rising, energy costs rising, and labor costs in California are skyrocketing like the stock market before it crashes. Add the work-from-home trend that wiped out office traffic, and Rubio's became like a seafood truck driving endlessly with no money for gas. A comment online once joked painfully accurately, "Rubio's isn't bad, my wallet is. In California, if you want to survive eating tacos, you better learn to cook." Rubio's didn't go bankrupt because the food is bad, but because it was selling great tacos in a state that's too expensive. The market doesn't reward delicious. The market only rewards delicious and profitable. And Rubio's is learning that lesson for the second time. Are you willing to pay extra for a seafood taco? Or would you rather make one at home for cheaper? Comment below. And don't forget to like and subscribe to follow the next big slip in America's F&B industry. 4. Denny's. When the old menu can't save the old customers. For decades, Denny's was the place where older Americans drank coffee, ate breakfast, and chatted as a social routine. But in 2025, that habit is no longer as strong. This age group eats out less because of rising costs, while Gen Z has little interest in the chain's old-fashioned style. Same-store sales fell 2.9% in Q3 2025, chainstoreguide.com, forcing Denny's to scale down. The brand has accepted a major shift, closing 150 underperforming restaurants in 2025 and agreeing to sell itself for $620 million, preparing to leave the stock market in 2026. No scandal, no controversy, but leaving Wall Street reveals that Denny's wants to restructure quietly instead of being forced to report every quarter. Denny's is not struggling because its food is bad, but because it no longer matches modern tastes. While IHOP constantly launches new dishes, McDonald's wins with budget combos, and trendy brunch chains attract young customers with flexible menus. Denny's is slow to innovate and has lost its next generation. What do you think? Should Denny's preserve its classic identity or change to suit Gen Z's taste? 3. Arby's. When a brand is never anyone's first choice. Arby's isn't controversial, but it's also not appealing enough to be anyone's first pick. In the food industry, a brand that nobody complains about, but nobody chooses on purpose either, faces one of the biggest risks of all. In 2024-2025, Arby's reported a 6.3% drop in revenue, the weakest performance across Inspire brands, allrecipes.com. The chain closed 48 restaurants in 2024, with at least 14 more shutting down in 2025, including locations in Los Angeles. No scandal, just stores quietly disappearing and quietly forgotten. Arby's isn't struggling because the food is bad, but because its identity is unclear. It's not cheap enough to win on value and not distinctive enough to be a priority choice. When more than 60% of Americans cut back on fast food in 2024, allrecipes.com, only brands with a strong reason to be chosen survive. Arby's simply doesn't offer a clear reason at all. Have you ever actually chosen Arby's on purpose? or only eaten there when there was nothing else? Comment below. 2. Jack in the Box. When customers complain, the CEO walks away and stores disappear. A brand doesn't need a scandal to collapse. Jack in the Box only needed one thing: people repeatedly complaining about quality. Small complaints about flavor, freshness, or value slowly pushed customers away. And by 2025, the results were visible. Revenue dropped 4.2%, and in Q4 alone, sales plunged 7.4%. The headline wasn't a lawsuit, it was the CEO stepping down in February 2025, replaced by CFO Lance Tucker, who now has one job: stop the fall. The company rolled out a bold recovery program called Jack on Track. But the real strategy is brutally simple: close 150-200 stores, cut losses, and prepare to sell Del Taco for cash. The reasons are painfully straightforward. Food costs, especially beef, spiked, labor costs rose, and weak promotions couldn't bring in enough customers, dragging profit margins down to 16.1% by the end of 2025. Jack in the Box isn't losing because the food is terrible. It's losing because there's no longer a compelling reason to choose it. Have you ever chosen Jack in the Box on purpose, or only eaten there when there was nothing else? Comment below. 1. The Cheesecake Factory, still crowded, but getting old. Unlike many chains, the Cheesecake Factory is still full of diners. Q3 2025 reported $907.2 million in revenue, $31.9 million in net income, and same-store sales up 0.3%. No crisis, no scandal, but the model itself is starting to age. The restaurant depends on a giant menu, big spaces, and long dining time, while younger customers want to eat fast, choose fast, and leave fast. Competitors with simple plus distinctive concepts, like North Italia or upscale brunch spots, are winning by using short menus and strong identity. The Cheesecake Factory is still fine. But being fine doesn't mean being safe. If it doesn't change, crowded today could turn into too slow for the era tomorrow. Do you prefer a menu as thick as a book, or just good dishes you can choose in 10 seconds? These 12 names you've just seen are not just restaurants in trouble. They are signs of an America that is changing the way it eats, spends, and survives during a time of rising prices. Some chains will disappear. Some may survive, but they will never be the same. The question now isn't who will collapse next, it's which chain still has a real reason for you to come back. Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you want to follow the changes that are quietly reshaping American life, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. See you in the next video.